When I first met Jimda, I lived up here. And then where I first saw him was probably right here, on this sidewalk, right about here. Just a few doors from Pine Street where he lived. So it's down here. Okay, this is the Pine Street house right here. And the front window on the second floor belonged to Martoon the magician. And the front room, on the first floor, that big window, that room belonged to Tim Cameron and the evil dog Rusalka. And on the second floor in the back, that's where David Homitz and his dog, Sancho, that was a family dog, and Jimda lived. And he had just a little room and a little heater, Humphrey radiant fire. And that was where I first lived with Jimda, in that room. Life. You know, when I first met him, we would go through San Francisco up and down the hills, and he'd be quoting Shakespeare like it was natural to him. But these are the kinds of things that he did, you know, when he was first put in the hospital. You can see that there are things about flying and navigation and astronomy, and they're the desire of an imprisoned person for freedom. I mean, can you imagine, you know, year after year, month after month, you're just in the same little area. It's like slow death, for sure. Slow death. And you're just marking off the days, day after day, month after month, year after year.
That hospital will ruin you. It's like out in the wild. If an animal gets crippled, he doesn't stand much chance of survival. Well, I live out in the wild. You know, only it's the wild we live in is a psychiatric boa constrictor that no one can see that it's a predator, that it lives off of people. Each person there tries to find some mental pursuit, you know, to keep the loneliness and the realization of the truth away. In other words, I've lost my family. I'm here. I'm probably here for life. Once I had a little boy, and I had a little girl, and I once had an old lady, and I had a family, and they were gone now, and they were gone forever. And so I would write you almost like I was writing ghosts. You know, like, it's funny. You get away from people, and it becomes ghost-like. It becomes unreal. The immediacy of their needs and their humanness and all that become gone. And all I could think of was the things I'd done wrong. Where I live now, I don't think I say like 10 words a week. Here's the 7th. I have to write, every day I have to write down something.
Busy schedule?
It's a thing I have to hand in about, I have to monitor tension because I drink to release tension. And so I have to say how I deal with tension other than drinking.
Mm.
And I go for walks, I bang my head in the trees. You know, I saw her standing on the corner. Do you know that song?
Yeah.
Okay, sing it.
Sing it with me.
I saw her standing on the corner, hup, 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 a yellow ribbon in her hair, hup, hup, hup. I took one look and I was fractured. I said, looky there, looky there. I followed home, I met her dad, and he said, you better leave my daughter alone, da 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 da, young blood, a young blood, I got you on my mind, da 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 da. That's all I know.
You were fun to sing with. We'd ride in that old truck with the windows down because we never had air conditioning or anything.
So I'll take 2 of those. This is olanzapine, the antipsychotic psychotropic drug. This keeps me from thinking forbidden thoughts. I shouldn't have forbidden thoughts. And it keeps me from believing in things that aren't true. Those are generic terms for mental illness. Things that aren't true you believe in, and forbidden thoughts. So there, I'll take one olanzapine. That makes me stare at the wall for like hours. I get immensely entertained by just sort of staring out into space for hours. People tell me, it's time for bedtime now. This is for mood. This is for mood, for mood control. You don't get too high, you don't get too low. I'm going to take them without any water. I'll show you how I do that. I go in my mouth, I work up saliva. I'll probably choke on them. Now, there. It's done. The foul deed is done. I am sane once again for another 7 hours. I can hardly wait. Are you still filming me, or can I get up and move around?
Oh yeah, you can get up and move around whenever.
Okay, I'm an old man now. I need my rest and everybody else's. Let me get these 2 fine pillows. Just think, all I had to do was become psychotic to get all this attention, you know? I could lay here and you could film me all night sleeping. Drinking a lot of beer, maybe. Drinking tequila, that's what was my downfall. What was that, 2/5 of tequila and 1/2 gallon of Spanish dry wine is what Martine and I drank that night. Funny, I remember that, but I don't remember much more. Except the moon was full. It was autumn, it was August the 17th, 1980. A beautiful night. All the flowers were blooming over the side of the fences in the alley. I wasn't even aware I'd committed a crime. Not really aware.
When Mr. Kimberling was asked whether he felt his wife was, in fact, involved in this incident that led to his arrest, he said, "I know she is. She told me she would get me back and I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. So when I came out of the Oregon nut house, I was her slave." When asked about the previous assault incident in which he was involved, Mr. Kimberling indicated, "It's the same people. This group comes first with my wife, but she denies it. They cornered me one day. My wife had given me 5 days to get out of the house. I told her I knew she was having me followed day and night."
I've been in trouble before. I got into a street fight, kind of a fight, while drinking, of course, and I was having trouble. Sherry and I were arguing, and I was living apart from you and Dawn and Sherry, and I was living apart from you, and they were treating me like I wasn't part of the family anymore. The psychiatrist was. They were treating me like I was, like I was one of their known losers, and that was best for you and the family, that if I was no longer part of you, and I was starting to have bad reactions to that, and I was having bad feelings. And Martine, of course, worked with the state too, and I went to see him, and we were speaking Spanish as best I could, and having a great time. And he was talking about where he was from in Guatemala, and life there, and we generally talked about things, and very gracious. His wife came in, and she was a young girl. She was quite a bit younger than him, very pretty. His young son was there, his little boy was there, and she came in, and she said, "Hey, you guys, eat something if you're going to drink that much." And she put down some food on the table, some cheese and bread and things like that, and for us to eat. And Martine and I kept drinking. And then I said, finally, I said, "I've got to go home." He said, "I'll drive you." And I said, "No, it's all right." I said, it's almost a full moon outside, and I'll walk down the alley. I said, "I like to walk down alleys, and there's a full moon. I'd like to do that." He says, "No, I insist. I'll drive you." So I said, "Okay," and we went downstairs, but I really wanted to walk, and it became a thing with me, And then he was downstairs and he kept walking toward me, and I said, "It's okay, Martine. I'll walk home." And all of a sudden it got fixed in my mind that I had to get in the car with him, you know. And then, for some reason, my hatred for those psychiatrists, my hatred for everything, and it was like everything bad. My whole way of life, I was just angry. And it was just in a kind of a flash. And he was walking toward me, and I was trying to keep him from walking toward me. And then I pulled out a knife, which I was going to give him, by the way. I saw him carving wood at Head Start where he worked, and he had a dull knife, and it was slipping, and he was about to cut himself. So I sharpened a knife where it would shave the hair on your arm, you know. And I went over there that night to buy him. I bought him a bottle of tequila, and I was going to give him the knife, you know. And the trouble is, I still had it on me. I think he refused it or something. I'm not sure, but I didn't stab it. I just went push, just push. And I was surprised, like it was like dreamlike, like it wasn't really real, like it was like you have a bad dream about something you're doing, you know. And it was dreamlike. I just went push, and it had stabbed him. It was so sharp that it gone through. It was below his belt where I stabbed him. Like he wore his belt high, but on the left side, and they said it just nicked his liver. It nicked it, you know. But and I was so exhausted. Some people came by and said, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I held the knife behind me, you know. I said, "I don't know what you're talking about." And Martine was walking down the street hollering, "Police, police," you know. And I was so tired and so worn out about everything, I didn't even try to run, I didn't try to hide. I just went underneath a tree and laid down. And the police came and got me, and that was the end of my life.
It is also my opinion, however, that Mr. James Dewey Kimberling was so diseased or defective in mind at the time of the commission of the alleged act as to have been incapable of distinguishing right from wrong with respect to that act, or, being able to distinguish, had suffered such an impairment of mind by disease or defect as to destroy the willpower and render him incapable of choosing the right and refraining from doing the wrong. It is therefore also my opinion that Mr. James Dewey Kimberling was legally insane at the time of the commission of the alleged act. And that's dated 12/2/80.
I've got to get some coffee. Cheap cherry. She's very excused to steal her coffee. Here we go. Another morning on psychotropics. And that's it.
I had a long time where I thought that there was something I could do, that I could help him out, that I could save him in some way, that if I, wrote to him enough and talked to him enough about real life and about the ways that I'd found to kind of be sane and to be calm and to be happy with life and to not just get by, but to actually genuinely enjoy your life and be happy just with what you have, that somehow it would give him an insight or it would help him. But it was like I could have been writing anything to him. Dear Jimda, I work in a cat food cannery. I have to climb inside the cans every night and scrub them clean. It wouldn't matter. He would still respond to me in the same way. People are persecuting me. Get me out. As far as a sense of responsibility goes, for a while, like I said, I felt that, but I realized that I had no sense of responsibility. I wasn't responsible. I didn't raise him. I didn't make him crazy. There was nothing, I didn't have the power to make him sane, and I was just secretly holding it back. I mean, it would be like me feeling responsible for saving him from diabetes. I have no power to control that at all. It's just kind of, that's Mom's thing. I'm Sharon McMorland.
Sharon, John Dickey. So this is your son, and he's doing the story on his dad, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And what I'm just here to ask you is where we go from here.
All right, well, let's do that. If we're going to do a full evaluation, and for it to have much credibility somehow, I'm going to have to be able to see some of his records. Which court has committed him down there?
He was committed in Weld County, in Greeley.
Pursuant to what, not guilty by reason of insanity?
Yes.
Or, what is his diagnosis? Paranoid schizophrenia?
Yes.
And what are his delusions and hallucinations like?
He doesn't have any hallucinations. I don't think he ever has,
What's
really.
his delusion? What's
That there are a bunch of people who are a gang against him that are persecuting him and pursuing him. A lot of it was true, that the neighborhood did perceive him as creepy and scary and people picked on him, but it wasn't a unified force.
Okay, so
That's the
he
kind
just
of thing.
put a different twist on it. And when it becomes a unified force against him, that makes him feel real. That makes him feel, other than totally empty, that makes him feel alive. That makes him feel like he exists.
But what a terrible way to exist.
Well, that's what that's the
like
horror of schizophrenia. That's the horror of psychosis. Is the creation of hallucinations or a delusional system in order that you feel you exist.
I'm worried really about his situation now because I see him making strange little uncontrollable movements.
They need to be watching it carefully.
But I don't think they will, because the one thing that they impress me with more than anything is saying that the only way for him to be well is to take those drugs and to take them all his life. And if he even tries to avoid that...
There are people, including myself, that disagree with that.
Pooey! As we say in the old days, twang! One of my favorite expressions.
See, this is some of the stuff in the box that you gave me.
Doom, 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 doom. You got personality. Dun, 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 dun. He got psychosis. Dun, 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 dun. The idea is that you're cutting off a thin, thin, thin slice of stone. You go. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Ooh, ooh. Shout and see you go. Shout and see you go. This brings back a lot of bad memories, Jim. I think I'll hang this part up, all right? This is the way that samurais and other people, actually the universal knife sharpening, that's one way to do it. The other way is like this way, back like this, which I used to prefer because you didn't nick the edge. I don't think this is razor sharp yet, but just in case, I'm going to try it. I don't think this is sharp. It is getting there a little, see? Just that little bit, see it shave?
There comes all your hair off.
Let's see what some of the doodles are about.
Okay.
You can read a person's personality from the doodles. Paranoid, I Ching rambling,
Yes.
hot dog. A stylized sailing ship, see the sails?
I see that.
Well, I miss doing this, you know, I miss it. You know, I was capable of doing some work. I was capable of at least learning how to do some work then. That's too bad I got screwed up, you know.
I know. I
It makes
kept
me feel
almost
so
everything.
good that you guys would keep and care about me enough to keep all this bullshit.
It isn't bullshit, though.
But do you have my traje de luces, my bullfight suit?
Oh, God, Dave.
Boom, boom, dun, da, boom, 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 dun, da, boom, 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 dun, da. Join me. De noche cuando me acuesto la rezo a la Virgen de la Macarena. Hey! Boom, 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 boom. I don't even know if I got that right. I doubt it.
But no, you know, man, I hate to say it, but your
What?
bullfight suit is gone.
Today's Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Way to better head off. Or live inside a fog. My grandfather had a terrible temper, you know. And at first he just gave me ritual whippings. Like, you know, he was real mock stern. He was like to a child, he's mock stern and he's spanking your butt. And then he started getting righteously angry as I got older and really losing control to where pretty soon he was hitting me with a belt or a switch around the neck and on the back and leaving welts that would bleed, you know. Put up your fist, he'd say, and then he'd go pow, 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 and he'd be hitting me in the face with his fist. And that's what happened when it got carried away. Well, I was younger than that when he first got carried away. I wasn't in the hospital. They had home doctors then, you know, that came to see you at home. And I was at home for a year, and I couldn't walk. My vision saw double, and my balance was gone. Like if I got up, I'd teeter over sideways, or I'd teeter over sideways and fall in just a few steps. And what had happened, what had caused him to do that is I was in the room while he was talking to some coal miners. Now what had happened, the coal miners were striking at this certain place, and it was getting vicious. Some miners, a miner had been found hanging off of a boxcar, you know, strung up by the neck by the goons, you know. Other people had been threatened and beaten, you know, and killed. And so their nerves were just, you know, tense as a wire, you know, these miners and my grandfather. And they were talking to each other, and it was very tense. And I was over on the corner, and there was a waste can there. It's the kind that had a pedal on it. If you press the pedal with your foot, the lid would come open. And I was throwing bread in it, which I'd been told not to do. The bread's to eat, it's not to, you know. And I'd throw a piece of bread and I'd go bam. And I was fascinated with the idea of gone, you know, boom, then it's gone, and now it's gone. And I was thinking of like it's a time machine, you know. And I'd press this, and I was imagining things. And for some reason, I can still remember being fascinated by the idea of this opening and closing without me doing it with my hand, you know. And I'd open it and it'd go pam, though, but it'd go kapam, kapam. And then he said, "You little shit," something. He said something, and the next thing I know, he was charging across the room at me. He hit me one blow, which sent me reeling, and the second blow sent me through the towel racks were made of glass, and I heard the towel racks breaking as I hit the wall, and then he hit me several other times, and I couldn't see. Everything turned real red, you know, and then all of a sudden I wasn't able to get to my feet, you know. And then I remember him picking me up. He picked me up off the floor himself, and he was crying. And after that, you know, he cried every time the doctor came to see me. And the doctor came to see me, and you know how it is when you're a child and you've done something to a child like that. You can imagine the horror he had of himself. But it's all right now. Things pass, Jim. Everything passes. And, you know, I just worry about my own sins now. I'm in the same place my grandfather was in many, many ways. And I know exactly how I felt. You know, like he really wasn't a villain. That just got away from him.
He'll be 60 years old May 29th. I mean, is there... I mean, I would consider it a victory for our family if he could be free from this burden. Is it too, I mean, is he too old? Is it too late? I mean...
I don't know. I don't know.
I told you before that he has to have a hip replacement, and he does. He's in bad shape physically.
Well, if he's in really bad shape and he's not in a lot of pain, you should probably take care of that first.
And
Because physical pain is... You can't do much psychologically if you're in physical pain.
He's got an appointment at 11:30 in the morning, and they're going to do all the preliminary surgery stuff. And then we're going to stay in Denver overnight, and he has to be at the hospital at 6 o'clock on the 14th. So he is scared.
Sometimes I get hungry and I eat my hamburger raw when I'm cooking.
Don't do that. You're going to get worms.
Big bad worms, and they make you really miserable.
We recycle all the stuff except avocados and citrus, because for some reason or another.
So when I die from an operation, you can recycle me out into your garden. I'll be out there pushing up the tomato plants.
I don't think there's any danger of that.
That's what the I Ching said.
What did the I Ching say?
They said the heart will suffocate during the operation.
What did you ask it?
Just about make it through. How will things go? And they've got the hexagram where it says the heart suffocates from numerous troubles.
You know, you've been asking that I Ching things for years, and it always tells you that something's going to horrible happen.
And it always does.
Not always.
Look at the way I live and look who I am. Jesus, it was right. All the fall. Oh, my poor old man. It's no use at all. He used to say that.
Who, your grandpa?
Yeah. He was about to kill himself. Finally, my father did the same thing with him. He says, no use. I was working at the time, and I'd spend all my money on beer and things. I never have enough money for food. So I got real hungry, so I thought, I'll go over to my father's house and borrow 50 cents. In those days, you could buy a great big hunk of Swiss cheese for 50 cents. And I go over there, you know, and I heard a muffled bump, you know, and my sister was coming down the steps, the front steps of the house, and I was coming up toward his car. And I kept looking at it, and I thought, that's weird, you know. Where is he? Where is he? The car is there, you know. And what had happened, he'd shot himself in the car. Deanna could see it because she was up above. She was looking down from the porch.
This Deanna?
Yeah, I told Kelly, I was kidding with Kelly, and I said, you know the thing I hated the most about my father's suicide? She said, what's that? I said, I didn't get the 50 cents.
What do you mean he hadn't eaten all week?
He hadn't been eating. They thought that there was some sort of blockage in his intestinal tract. The nurses kept thinking that, and they called the doctor. They called the doctor because he wasn't eating and he wasn't going to the bathroom. It was like his whole intestinal tract was stopped up, and they kept calling those doctors, and he just kept going on day after day like that. Is Dawn there? Yeah. Dawn. Jimda died. Jimda died. He died this morning in the hospital. I don't know anything else. We're going from Greeley down there now. I don't know what happened. I don't know. No, I just needed to tell you. No, I'm not okay. No, I'm not. Poor thing. Poor creature. Oh, poor creature. Oh, poor creature. Oh. He's not even really cold. He's cold. Poor creature. Oh. Poor Oh, there's still blood. Oh.
Hello there.
Everything was going pretty much, aside from the gimpy eating, how we would like it to go. He was, doing great. He had, just some confusion early this morning. It was about 3 o'clock or so. He knew where he was. He knew his name. He, knew what he was doing here. Knew what was going on. Just, was saying stuff about how he had to fill out forms and things like that. And none of us were telling him he needed to fill out any forms. That was his reason for getting out of bed, this morning. And they caught him. We got him back in bed, and he, that's where, he was just a little confused. He either had, despite being on all this medicine to keep him from getting blood clots, he got one anyway, and went to his lungs, and that just did it. Now, I kind of don't think that's it, because that would show up on an EKG, and we'd see things in his heart, and all that looked fine. So the other thing could have happened is he could have choked on his vomit.
We're gonna go to California and spread his ashes. Yeah, he died this morning.
do with stuff like this? Do you keep it? Do you throw it away? I don't know. I sure can't bring myself to throw it away, though. The bank card, a driver's license, the old wallet. I mean, it's like it still has Jimda on it. It still has the feel of his hands.
Like a man.